the show.
As we start the show, that's right. We don't have an intro. We have an outro. We don't have an intro. I mean, look, Ben Rasa needs no introduction in the golf streets. That's for sure. It's almost like that was planned. I wish it were. I am just here hanging on along for the ride. Unfortunately, the one guy that I can honestly say I have been touting for a while didn't even make the show last week, Ben, and he winds up winning the damn thing at the Byron Nelson, at Jazzraz DFS, at Shander Show. We have a major finally here to talk about. Welcome to the OddsShopper Golf Channel. We appreciate you being here. Thumbs up. Also subscribe. We would love to see these numbers grow. This is your OddsShopper exclusive home for the world of golf. And yeah, a couple of things to look back at, a couple of big things to look ahead as we head to Rochester, where I'm sure Rochester, as it sounds up there, you've had yourself a garbage plate, I'm sure, here or there. Have you not?
I've never been even close to Rochester.
Really?
No. Rochester's so far from New York City. Get that out of here.
You've never had a garbage plate, Ben Rasa?
No, I can't say that I have. My outright card was garbage plate. Last week at the Byron Nelson, that stupid tournament, Adam Scott was all right. Tom Kim, a miraculous made cut, but he did not threaten. And Jason Day. So this is now 2 majors in a row. I want to get this out there right now. We talked about this, and it didn't mean I don't like Jason Day, particularly for the PGA, but just like Corey Connors before the Masters, Jason Day's number, of course, is coming down because of his win last week. And it was a long time coming for him. He's healthy, seems motivated. He was the huge takeaway for obvious reasons from an event that I don't think had a ton. You know, Scheffler played fine. I'm not concerned about that. Spieth was hurt. I don't have anything else to say about the Byron Nelson.
Yeah, me neither. And we talked about Jason Day actually at the start of the season. And I mentioned to you, Ben, that I was going to get in him and Hogue when you look at, and actually, Tom has a little bit of a connection as far as why you would play him. But way, way back with just the assumption that Jason Day would be healthy, took a small little crack at him. Now, these are enhanced wins, but still 100-1 was where he opened up at the PGA. I feel pretty good about that 100-1 right now. Not to say that he's guaranteed to win it, but clearly you want to talk about CLV. My God.
Yeah, you got that much. Obviously, now he's got to go out there and do it. But of course, you know, when we dive into these numbers, you're not going to see anything even remotely close to being remotely close to that. And there's a lot in aspects of that. But what do you, before I dive into golfers, and I know you've got some guys that you want to talk about, my first thought in majors, because particularly you throw Augusta out because we see it every year. These are courses we have really never seen or not seen for quite a while. Yeah. I always try to work backwards. How hard do you think this is going to be? Because I've heard some people say that Oak Hill is a serious test of golf where the winner could be like 5 under, and that changes how I build my outright card.
It's the Northeast. You know you're going to get a difficult challenge, as is. There is a lot of length that's required, but those fairways, man, are super narrow. You also don't have gimmies like you do in a lot of places. Not to say majors, I get it, but par 5, scoring opportunities. You have 2, correct me if I'm wrong, that are at least 6'10" plus as far as length. So this is going to require now 3, I think, just to set you up. You will be penalized exponentially. I don't care if it's a short hole, if you hit the fairway dead on, if you miss your approach shot, you will be crushed. And on top of that, let me just add this. Did they not in 2019 change Oak Hill for the worse with these renovations, specifically what everybody's talking about, these front to back greens where you're essentially putting? So these are hills, a lot of hills at Oak Hill. To answer your question, I agree. I think this place is going to be impossible, and you're lucky to get out of here at 500.
See, I think it's going to be, that's what I've heard. I think it's going to be easier than most people think. Not easy. This isn't wherever we played last week, but I am targeting some guys that are going to have to go low to thrive. There's other guys where it's like the Shane Lowrys. You know, you can go grind out long par 4s. You mentioned you got to take advantage of the pair of par 5s. If you can, there are long par 3s on this course. Looking at the the approach shots, the 200 plus bucket is massive this week. You're going to have to hit long irons no matter what. So it's clearly an all around test of golf, but I am building my outright card under a couple of assumptions. And one of them, for the most part, nothing's ever blanket statement. I'm going to target some guys where I think they could get to 13 to 15 under.
All right, well, let's start there. I think that's a good place to begin. Scotty Scheffler, John Rahm, you still have this spot. Let us mention, by the way, I don't know if you know this. You do, of course, you out there collectively, that Rory McIlroy not only is a member at Oak Hill, but his wife is a Rochester native, and she's had herself a garbage plate. You know, they sound exactly like Chicago up there.
Do that? I have never.
Yeah.
I'm trying to even think.
All right, so here's what's in a garbage plate, okay?
Yeah, let's hear this.
You have minced up hamburger, like cheeseburger or hamburger, right?
That's
right.
not bad.
So white or red hots, which is like hot dogs, right? Just chopped up on top of French fries, baked beans, macaroni salad, and then covered with like hot sauce. Now, a lot of people add mustard and onions in there, and that's what you call a garbage plate.
I can work.
Yeah.
I could work with that. I'm going to have to take some ingredients out.
I don't know if you can sub out. This is like one of your fancy restaurants you go to where the chef says no substitutions.
Yeah, well, that's I'm not sure I can get down with that. But yeah, you mentioned Rory. Yes. What a fascinating situation, because this is as bad as he's looked in quite some time. You could argue maybe ever. He goes to Quail Hollow, his ultimate get right spot.
Yep.
He did not get right. He did not look right. But he's coming to a place. Certainly, he's got some good vibes. 14-1 feels about right. I know for me, he's not going to be on my outright card. I'll use him in DFS a little bit. I'm not sure I'm going to have any of the first three. I think Rahm is probably the best number just because he's playing out of his mind, but wouldn't fault anyone for any of them. But I think I'm going to go elsewhere.
All right. Well, you start. You throw a name out, and let's begin the conversation.
So, like always, I want to preface it right now. We've got DraftKings on the screen. Make sure you shop these odds. You're going to find better odds on certain players at different books. So I just want to throw that out right now as we begin. I think for me I'll start with, again, a popular guy. What about Tony Finau? You're sitting there.
Yeah.
Step one was, can he win? Is he ever going to become a winner on tour? A lot of wins later, that answer is resoundingly yes, he can do it. And now the next question, of course, is can he win a major? And he's playing great. I thought that, honestly, even though it was just the Mexico Open, going head-to-head with Rahm on a Sunday and holding him off, that means more to me than most things that you could take. So he's sitting at 25-1. I see a 29-1 out there on FanDuel.
It's not bad.
He's got the length. You mentioned these narrow fairways. It's bent grass. I think that's probably a benefit. Not probably. It's definitely a benefit for Tony Finau over Bermuda. He's in a strong field with the best players in the world, but I've seen him do it. It's time to up that quality of win. Tony Finau at pseudo 30-1, I think is fine.
Yeah, I like it, man. We've definitely seen him battle tested. We've seen him take advantage of light fields, of heavy fields. I don't think that can be used against him by any means. And you're right, like overcoming that first, can he win, and now sustain that. 25-1 is going to be reflected. And again, shop that, of course, but the number is definitely going to reflect the top end part of this field. And you can even argue that based on his success that we've seen, he probably should be higher, maybe at 20-1. So there's definitely an argument to that. I don't know if you have anybody in between, but the one guy in like the top 30, maybe 35 range, right? For me would be Victor Hovland, a guy that, again, I feel like we're waiting for that break. Maybe it does come in a major. Let's look at the bad scrambling, the bad around the green. Everybody's going to have a problem with this, right? We make we talk a lot about this with putting, where it's like, well, yeah, everybody's going to struggle on the field putting at a certain spot. So that may help ease a guy who's not necessarily dominant there. But in this case, bent grass, he's actually strokes gained tee to green on bent. He actually pops in this field. On top of that, he's gaining strokes off the tee. This is somebody who I think, Ben, has the capability to do it and may struggle in an area or areas, probably only area if he's going to win, where everybody in the field or nobody's able to distance themselves in the field, scrambling around the green, not so much putting on bent grass and getting off the tee.
Hovland's always a really difficult evaluation because he lacks his around the green game is objectively terrible for a top end player. He's an elite driver of the ball, and he's shown at courses and places where around the green is important that he's fine. He came to Augusta, he came in 7th. He was 3rd at the Players. We saw him at a US Open young in his career. He was fine. He's got a top 5 at an Open championship, not that it was particularly windy. So it's not a matter of if he can do it. It's just kind of the opportunity cost. So I have no issues with Hovland. I personally think that if you like Hovland, you should be hoping that it plays slightly easier, more greens in regulation, less opportunities. These bunkers apparently are no joke. You don't want to be
you mean the fairway bunkers or the ones
fairway bunkers, just even the bunker, some of the bunkers guarding the green. Like you do not want to flirt with that over and over and over again. So Hovland, I think, belongs. I mean, he's got all the tools. If he can mask around the green, there's few guys similar to Cam Young, where it's like their talent, it jumps off the screen when you see them dialed in.
All right. We've got a mid-range option, right? I guess you can start this conversation. Maybe Jordan Spieth, 40-1 and larger, depending on where you want to go here.
Yeah, so I'm you don't have to click these guys in. I do want to give a couple shout outs because it's a major to Matthew Fitzpatrick, who won in Boston. He has a US Open to his name. You can find him around 30. Sungjae Im, 35. I've seen, maybe accuracy off the tee, gain strokes everywhere. Most well-rounded player, in my opinion, Sungjae. He has no weakness to his game. He also doesn't have that, nuclear, I'm the best in the world at this. He's just super solid in every direction. Spieth is impossible to me. I think I'm guessing, but I think he's legitimately injured. Byron Nelson, I know is not a real tournament, in the grand scheme of things, but it's real to Spieth. He's got serious roots to that region. He started his career there. He would have played if he could have. And he didn't. And I worry about, think how bad he was the last time we saw him. Clearly something was bothering him. He was 10 over par in that round, it felt like. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I think if I had to throw a name out here in this range, it would be the guy I go to every time, and he never wins, is Tommy Fleetwood. Come on now. 4.5-1 for a top 10, 60-1 in that outright market, which is about the best that I can find right now. He can play in any condition. We saw him most famously at a US Open, I believe one of the many that Brooks won. He's just playing good golf. I don't care what anybody says. He is playing good golf. And if you do that enough, you eventually win. Maybe it won't be a major, but he's too good right now, and he's playing too good to not knock down that door.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. And even if I did, I don't think it would matter to you. But he's
not with Tommy. I'm too far gone. Just listen to these results though. 27th at the Players, 3rd at Valspar, 33rd at the Masters, 15th at Heritage, 5th last time at Wells Fargo. He gained strokes across the board, 9.5 tee to green. Again, that translates everywhere if you're striping it like that.
Yeah, you're right. And it's going to take, I think, again, something to stand out here. We talked about possibly single digits, maybe getting to low teens, depending on how you look at it here. So either way, you're going to have to withstand the field/course element, if you will, not rain or so, but just around the course, or you're going to have to separate yourself and really make some putts and score given opportunities. If in fact it's playing a little bit easier, that should definitely go up into Tommy Fleetwood's bag. Let me throw one out you real quick in this mid-range, because I think a lot of this has always predicated.
I knew it.
Well, think about it though, right? You just talked about Jordan Spieth and how you would stay away from Spieth because he's hurt. We talked about Jason Day at the start of the show and how there was a lot of hope behind him this year, so long as he wasn't hurt. And Hideki Matsuyama has played hurt at times or just said, screw this shit, I'm out of here, and either not played or withdrawn. He is playing exceptionally well over his last, 5 events. And if you want to start at the Players, where he finished top 5. And I think before that, even, there's going to be an up and down or so. But for the most part, outside of whatever you want to look at the Deltec, he's gaining strokes around the green, approach. That's what we talked about. Not getting crushed on the green. Again, Deltec is the Deltec. But this is a guy who I think when he's healthy, consistently healthy, and fill in the blank with whatever athlete analogy you want to draw in any other sport, Ben. But I think even Hideki, as good and special of a golfer as he can be, guys get lost when they're hurt. And it's kind of like, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. I don't know what more you need to see from Matsuyama to at least take a shot at him 50-1. And look at this. Look at this stuff is moving as we do the show. And 4-1 is a top 10.
So, yeah, I mean, listen, to me, most golf odds, particularly, when the public starts shaping the numbers as bets come in and whatnot, some of that is driven by kind of consistency. In Hideki, he doesn't always have consistency because he has these ebbs and flows, but we know when he brings his A game, it's as good as anyone in the world. Now, he went over to Japan to get some treatment on his neck, is from what I've heard, and I think it went well. He played with no concerns. He played the week before a major, and that's a good thing to see. So on a difficult course, I don't think you have to worry about this in the sense that if it happens, you just have to live with it. If Hideki does his thing where he misses like all his 4-foot putts, you have absolutely no chance. You just kind of have to live knowing that's a possibility. When he doesn't do that, he's putting on green jackets. I mean, the guy has every shot. He just seemingly takes himself out of tournaments far too often at times.
All right, my friend.
Oh my.
I mean,
yeah,
this has to be the obligatory. One of us is going to mention Joaquin Niemann. If you don't, then I will. So why don't you take it? Because he's your guy.
Sure. First thing, I'm actually going to give a quick shout out to a couple different books, including, we'll talk a little Bet365 as well here in just a second. Niemann is upwards of 90-1 out there. I've seen a 90-1 over on FanDuel. Bet365 also has really good numbers on some of these. So you do want to shop it. This is my, again, if you want like a dark horse from the clouds winner, I think that Joaquin Niemann has a ton of boom busts. Now, first one, it seems like he's been out here for 10 years. He probably has, but he's still only 24. He hasn't shown that top end talent in the majors just yet. His career best finish at a major was this year, though. And it was at the Masters. I mean, you look at what he's doing. He came in 16th there. That still leaves a lot of room for a guy this good. But I know he can do it against the best players in the world, and I'll cite where he's thrived. Genesis, what a field that he destroyed right before he went to live. He has had really good showings at Memorial a couple times with kind of connections to this area in some regards. Niemann has all the skills. I don't know where his game is at per se, and I don't know if he's ready to make the full leap from 0 career top 10s to winning a major in majors, obviously, in terms of his 0 career top 10s. 90-1, 6-1 for a top 10. These are numbers that I can get on board with.
Absolutely. I look, especially at 90-1, my goodness. And it just shows.
He drifted. Yeah.
And look, live guys, I think for a little bit are going to get the benefit in the better favor, not necessarily in the market favor. Meaning, like, if you like some of these guys, you're going to get good numbers simply because somebody's like, oh, I hate that guy, Patrick Reed, or whatever it may be, or I've never seen him play this year, whatever. And I think that's going to factor into it as well. 90-1 is insane. Kind of have to just take a shot at that. All right, you mentioned Bet365 here, right? Now, is that not popping up for you like it is for me? There we go.
Oh, I see myself pointing to a $1 get 200.
You're not pointing to the bottom, which is you have to be 21 or older, gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER, Virginia, Colorado, Ohio, New Jersey. You're in one of these 4 states. Ben's telling you what to do. Take you 60 seconds, deposit $10, put $1 in, you'll get 200 back. Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah. Could you use a couple extra $100 to make golf bets this week? I know I could if I was fortunate, and I hope one day this book comes to New York. I know little rumors that you're going to be getting them sooner rather than later at times. Pretty exciting stuff. But man, doesn't get easier than that. Again, it's right there for you. It's a clean, simple interface. Turn $1 into 200. Where are you You see, I'm talking about important stuff, and I leave you to your own devices, and now I see Billy Horschel and Lahiri on my screen.
Yeah, I'm not going there. I think we passed him. Did we pass Siwoo? We must have.
Yes, he's not down there with those guys.
Oh, here he is, 80-1. See, I'm not going to go crazy here. I don't think there's a need to, right? Like, I can't give you like Adam Svensson, who pops in some key categories. It's not going to be on my ticket, maybe as like a top 40. But I think realistically, this is where I would end, which is an 80-1 shot for Kim. And again, shop, and a plus 650 top 10. This is just appealing to the similar strategy of somebody who pops in a bunch of necessary categories that we talked about and who has played well enough, at least at times. And again, very up and down. And that's what's going to kill him. When he is off, it's over. He's going to miss this cut. But at 81, I'll take a shot.
Yeah, again, I think your point's well taken. And of all the majors, in my opinion, the PGA is the one where you see some weird stuff happen. But still, I think you want to keep it, I'd say, within reason. Like, I'm not looking towards guys in the 300-1 range outside of matchups, top 20s, top 40s. Maybe something here or there. But like, to me, I'll give you one last guy. Give me Gary Woodland.
How did I go?
Come on now. Gary Woodland has been a frustrating guy to evaluate at times, but a lot of it has been putting issues. I mean, he's making cuts despite of that. He's made 6 straight cuts, and he's lost strokes putting 5 times. He lost 7.5 strokes putting in Mexico. He lost 3.5 strokes putting, and he came in 14th last time at Wells Fargo. If I told you 80-1, upwards of 80-1, again, shop this number, the guy has gained 10 and 12 strokes tee to green in his last 2 events. He is one of the best players with long irons in his hand on the tour. He knows what he's doing. Can he putt? I have absolutely no idea. My guess would be no. But man, you could do worse than that in these type of ranges. Like, I would rather target him than a lot of these guys that are on the screen now, even at this is much bigger numbers, but I don't see it.
I mean, this is insane here. I will leave you with this thought. Okay. Look, there are top 20s. There are winners without matchups. Yep. Ben is constantly dripping in some 3 balls or just.
Hey, look at Ricky. Ricky's on the screen. Exactly. Shout out to Ricky.
I don't want you to say a word. All right. Just hold that thought, because if people want to know how to play this stuff, you better pop into the Discord. All right. We're going to give you half off your first week of our insider access. You can see Ben's big face there. He's there. Lindy's there. I have to lead with that. Like, don't worry, Lindquist is there. Isaiah, myself, all 4 of us are there. We want you to hang. It's so much more than just giving you winning picks. It's about everything and I mention this all the time, Ben, and I wanted to just get back to us so that people can see us and that I'm not just talking over everybody, or at least your face here in this case. But so much of this, the Discord, and again, the links below, you get half off. It's such a great alternative to like the social and like this negative. There's no ego. There's no negativity. Everybody's trying to help each other. And that's so fun to be a part of that.
That's great. Again, the thing you said, of course, are we giving out some picks and bets? Absolutely. The weather, the wind, stuff that we can't tell you on a Monday. If you're looking for that stuff, it's great, but it's more than that. It's not just about that. We're in there having fun. We're sweating out tickets. People are asking about live betting, and it's not just us to the community, it's just a great group. So even if you're saying, you know what, it's a major week, I'm going to come in for the week. You come in for the week and you have some fun. Maybe you dip on out and we see you for football season. Of course, totally respect that, but give us a try, hang out. If nothing else, it's always more fun to root on your guys with a great community. Once you hop in there, of course, tag me and Eytan, say what's up. We'll introduce you to the people. We got you covered.
At JazzRaz DFS, at Shander Show, we gave you everything, the money, free money at Bet365, half off the Discord. And oh, by the way, a bunch of plays for the PGA. Take it away, my friend. It's all you.
Yeah. Thanks again. If you have any questions, hit us up. Those links are in the description. Let's just have a week. Second major of the season is upon us. Good luck. Stay tuned for even more content each and every day here at OddsShopper Golf. We'll talk to you next week.